Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hopeful Hump Day. This is actually a retake of the podcast interview we did earlier this week. We had little technical difficulties, which I know we can all understand these days. So we're going to go ahead and re-record this because Amy, our guest today, has a really powerful message that I want to make sure you have the opportunity to really hear. So this is take two. So pretend. Take two. I need one of those little movie things. So Amy, welcome back today. Let me introduce you again for those that maybe didn't hear it the first time. So Amy is a mom to three kids. She's got three ages 11, 7, and 4. She's been married to her best friend for almost 12 years, and they've lived in 3 different states, and both of them are small business owners, which I can appreciate is quite an undertaking. She went through a bout of unchecked postpartum depression and anxiety a while after her 3rd child, which turned into developing a love for health and wellness and led her down a path of using exercise and nutrition, a lot of mindset work to really develop her ideal self-care toolbox. Most recently, which I think is amazing, talking about where you came from the depression, she's finished her certification in integrative health coaching, which is amazing. She coaches other moms who are working hard to build a healthy habit for themselves and want to take control of their mental and physical health. And of course, with this, she's an avid book reader, beach goer, which you're probably in a better area than I am for beach going, and loves the outdoors. And her faith is really what keeps her centered, and she empowers other women to find their own sources of faith too. So welcome again, Amy. Thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me and take two. I appreciate it. I apologize for 2 things, my technical difficulties and my attire today. I do want to do a quick little backstory is I deal with anxiety as well. And so this week has been a little trying in the last part of this week. Yesterday I did not get a workout in. I did like a little yoga just to move my body. But today before this retake, I was like, I could get my workout in right now, but I'm going to show up like sweaty and gross. So I literally just finished my workout, but it completely shifted my frame of mind. I feel better. I feel more positive. I feel more like I'm able to pour into you guys. So it's really like you truly are one workout away from a better mood. That's not always the case. But in my case this morning, I knew moving my body before this was going to be able to help me serve you guys and speak to this a little better. So pardon the sweaty appearance. This is real.
No, I think this is great. I mean, this is like leading by example, right? You're not talking the talk, you are walking the walk. So
walking the walk with the sweaty pits and all. I mean, yeah, I'm real. I'm sorry.
Oh God. Well, so let's go back to this time in your life when you were dealing with the postpartum depression. And I'm not a mom, but I can only imagine what it might be like, just having mom duties, right? Taking care of children and everything else, but then having on top of that, dealing with some of that depression.
Yeah.
How were you feeling at that time? What was that like for you?
I mean, there were a lot of feelings. And mostly the big players were, I was hopeless. I didn't actually really wake up looking forward to anything. Numb was another one of mine where it wasn't necessarily like this high and low. It was just kind of this like neutral, like, oh, another day, and checked out, which is really terrifying because I was in the care at that time of a 6-month-old, just a 6-month-old, a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. And so depression can be associated with a lot of different things. A lot of people who have never suffered from it just think it's like this mental thing. But for me, it manifested itself very physically. I was achy. I was sore. On the days I wasn't necessarily drinking or anything, I would wake up and I would feel very hungover. So I don't recall too many moments of this time, which again, slightly terrifying. I was just kind of going through the motions. But I do have a very big recollection of my rock bottom moment, which was my 35th birthday. And I would just break out into tears, like randomly. And it was just caused by, I think, complete overwhelm, and my mind not being in a healthy spot. And so I started crying in my closet, because my closet is big enough and dark enough. I could go in, shut the door. My kids couldn't find me, and I could cry. I hated crying around them because it got to the point where they were very aware of something's up with mom.
Sure. Yeah.
And, you know, I still wanted to be a good mom. Even though I was checked out, I had this obviously desire to be good for my kids. I just didn't really know how.
Yeah.
And so on my 35th birthday, my husband called me up, and I was in my closet having a cry sesh. And he was like, "What do you want for dinner tonight?" And I was like, "Honestly, I just want you to come home so I can get in the car and I can go cry by myself."
Wow.
And my son, he was 3 at the time, and he overheard me talking about this, and he was like, "Mom, did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me?" And it was like a punch to the gut, because no, my children, my children were children. They were being kids and having a tantrum and figuring out the world themselves. And it was just so insanely difficult for me to deal with their struggles, their challenges, and my own at the same time. So the fact that my son was equating my upset, my crying spells and times of stuff like that to his behavior was like, it was like a wake-up call for me. And it broke my heart. It gave me this, it did so many things for me. It broke my heart. It gave me this mission. It lighted this fire underneath me to actually do something about it.
This was it sounds like a real catalyst moment for you.
Yeah.
Your big aha moment, like, wow.
It was.
Something wasn't right, but like, wow, this is the impact it's having. I need to make a shift.
Yeah. Like if I didn't do something at that point to like massively change, this wasn't just like I'm gonna, it's like I needed to do what I should have done months and months ago. And I knew that if I didn't do something, if I didn't like really start fighting for my health, that my kids were going to have more memories of a sad mom than a happy one. And the thought that they would think that they had anything to do with that, me being sad, was like, no, this is not their fault. This is my health. I think I was fully at that point taking ownership of my health, my mental health. Yeah, I think I owed it to my kids to do that.
So after this wonderful birthday that you had, it sounds like, what then shifted for you? What did you start doing differently? How did you take these big steps?
Yeah, the first step, because I didn't really know how to do this, the first step was going to the doctor, which is something I didn't do. I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't get physicals. I didn't go get checkups because I was in the mindset of, well, ignorance is bliss. I'm fine. I'm okay. Everything's fine. This is a season. It will go away. I knew going to the doctor, I was going to have a level of vulnerability with this doctor. And I was really scared about that. This was also, because I never went to the doctor, my first time meeting with this doctor. So I had to get real brave, but I went in with the mindset of, I'm doing this for my kids. I wasn't necessarily doing it for me just yet. I was like, I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for my kids. I filled out, they gave you, when you go to the doctor and you talk about how you're feeling and maybe and depression talk comes up and stuff like that, they give you this checklist. And it's a checklist of, on a scale of how many days do you more so than not, do you feel hopeless, do you this, and I'm checking all the things. And the last question was, have you ever thought about taking your own life or hurting yourself or others. And while I never in a million years could do that, even sitting there, I remember this moment. There were days during my depression that hurt so bad that I wanted to check out.
Yeah.
Like so I all of a sudden had this, like, again, another aha moment where I was like, I get why people do this.
Yeah.
It's a very slippery slope. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't seek the help of a professional or anything, how those days could stack up enough for someone to do that. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so I checked it because, again, I was like, I got to be vulnerable. I got to be honest with myself. But immediately when the doctor was looking at it, I had to caveat. I was like, but I would never do that.
Oh, no, hold on. I mean,
Because I was really afraid. I was so afraid they were going to, like, put me in cuffs and take me to a padded room or something. But really, I mean, the amount of respect and care and love I was met with took my breath away. And like I tear up thinking about it. The doctor took my hand and she told me it was going to be okay. Whew. I got through this the first time really well. But I was really terrified. And I will say, I was really terrified to go on a medication that almost felt very like a controlled substance, because I dealt with pill addiction in my 20s, from some very pivotal moments of my life where I was hurting, and Oxycontin and Vicodin numbed that pain. And I grew up in a family where I wasn't really able to, I didn't know how to share my pain. I didn't know how to share my pain with them. And so I didn't. And it was easier to take that medication and numb out and not feel the pain than work through the pain. And so I swore off pills of all sort once I got myself off of those, which was an insanely crazy detox process. I didn't even know I was actually addicted to them, or that I could be addicted to them, until the pills stopped coming, and I wasn't getting them for cheap or free. And I went through this massive withdrawal process, and it was horrible. I mean, I have gone through natural childbirth twice and would much rather that than a detox process. So I understand how hard it is to go through that. And so I was scared that even a depression medication, just because I didn't know, could control my body like that again. That's why I stayed away from it. It wasn't like, I don't think this could help me. I was just really scared and uninformed about what a depression medication could do for me. The life raft it would give me to go on and move and get to the place where I'm at now. So,
well, I think, just real quick, I think there is a lot of misconception too. If you've never been exposed to depression medication, just the thought of it, because I think we've probably heard horror stories of, they always have the warning, if you're under 18, can cause suicide. I mean, that'll make you think, well, I don't want it at all, right? But it is a bit of a trial and a test, like one may work great for one person, it may not work for you at all. And so, trying each of them, but they've definitely been successful for so many people. And it isn't that same effect of, I think, like when you're taking like the Vicodin or the Oxycontin or whatever, it doesn't give that immediate effect. It's more of a longer term. You also have to wean off of those when you come off of those, because you will feel it. But I just think there's a lot of misconception out there about what they are and how they can help. So you were probably having some of that. It's just not knowing, right?
Right, not knowing. That's 100%. And then, so, I mean, obviously it's not a magic pill. And so I started taking them, and you don't feel anything right away. Actually, if you do feel anything, it's your body getting adjusted to the medication. So you're not always feeling your best. And you're like, wow, I didn't think I could actually be nauseous and feel hopeless. Like, ugh. So I played this, I don't want to say it's a game with myself, but I was like, I got to help myself somehow. I got to have something. And so for me, during that time, while I was like waiting for this medication to just work, I would open my eyes every day and I would list 5 things I was grateful for before my feet hit the floor. My body would ache. I would wake up nauseous or with a dry mouth. I was like, okay, like I smell coffee downstairs and it smells glorious. And my husband made that for me. My kids aren't fighting this morning. I have breath in my lungs. My kitty would come up and lay next to me and I would be like, he loves to snuggle me, or he understands that I need this right now. Like I would just find 5 things. The sun is shining, or, oh my gosh, it's a rainy day. I don't have to do all the things. Like whatever it was, 5 things. And those 5 things helped me look through a completely different lens than I had been previously looking through.
Sure. Well, so on that, I mean, previously to you making this decision, okay, when I wake up, I'm going to think of 5 things. What were your thoughts when you would wake up prior? I mean, would they automatically kind of go to the negative? I mean, how?
Oh yeah. I mean, you, whatever you like, wherever you're feeling or whatever, you'll look for it. So like I would wake up and my head would be hurting and I would hear my kids crying and whining and I'd be like, ugh. And then I'd look over and the laundry pile would be like spilling out and I'd be like, great, another thing I have to do. My body would hurt and I would just think about that and it would like consume me. Like, am I ever going to feel okay? Like it just felt like I was getting so far away from feeling okay. So it was a big shift for me to work on thinking positive. It was a hard, listing 5 things I was grateful for at that time felt like a hard workout that I do right now. But I did it, and I did it every day because I was like committed. I was committed to the long game of not being on a medication. I was committed to the long game of curing myself, because at the time, and I'll talk more about that, but at the time it was just like, I'm going to get over this. I'm going to beat depression. I'm going to beat, like, I felt this, like, I'm going to kick it. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to never deal with this again. It was like an illness. I was like, I'm going to beat this.
Right.
And soon I learned that, like, I've probably had this somehow my whole life. And now I just have developed tools in my toolbox that help me when I feel those seasons coming on, just like it happened this week for me with anxiety. So my perspective has shifted in that. And I've educated myself and learned where I wasn't really educated in the idea of mental health when I first started. So.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, and I think it shows today, because how long ago was this when you were dealing with the depression and started making the shift? How many years ago? 2017.
Yeah, 2016, 2017 was like a really bleh time.
It was the 2020 for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right. Okay. So by doing this, I mean, obviously you've shown today, great example today. You decided, you know what, I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to get some exercise because I can feel that I probably need it. And I think that is so much of what we talk about too at Hope Warrior Project, is being intentional and understanding, what do I need to do to help myself? But if we don't learn, right, then we don't know. And so that's where, having people on here like you to tell your story and share, this is what worked for you. These are tools that hopefully other people can take into their own life and say, okay, well, wow, maybe that's something that I can do, because I deal with that anxiety, or I feel this way, or I'm not sure, if I'm scared of medication. But I mean, and again, I just say that to say that it's so important, I think, for people to share what has worked for them, what they were going through, because that helps other people to understand.
Right. We all have a toolbox, and what is amazing is the more you talk to people who struggle with these things and are willing to be open and share, like your community does and comes together to do that, is the fact that a tool you use and makes you feel good might help me. And then some things that you have might not help me. So we're all very, the school I went through calls it bio-individuality, meaning we were all built so differently. And what works for one person might not work for another person. But leaning in together, sharing what we know is going to help people find what works for them ultimately.
Exactly. Well, so that kind of goes into what you're doing today, right? So, I mean, you've shifted a lot. I mean, you just got this certification in the integrative health coaching. I mean, like, it almost sounds like you're a really different person maybe than what you were several years ago. This is amazing.
Yeah. If you asked me to work out in 2016, I probably would have laughed at you. My husband actually got me to try a workout program in the beginning of 2016. And I told him that I would just do the food part. I don't exercise. So this was the beginning of 2018. I realized I needed to level up my game. Like I was taking the medication, I was doing gratitude, I was feeling really good, but I was like, all right, I got to do something else. I got to add something else to this if I really do want to get off the medication. And for me, that was moving my body. It had to be fun. It had to be easy. So I started with Zumba and yoga. And I shared this story the other day with you, but like I started yoga because I went to the class and the lady put essential oils and like a hot towel on my face and it felt like a spa. So that's why I kept showing up.
I could totally see that. Everybody want to go to that yoga class.
And then Zumba was fun. Zumba was like all shapes and sizes, ages. And we just came together and we like moved our body. I was like, this is fun. I like this. This is fun. And that worked for a couple of months. And then I found myself like slipping and not showing up and not doing whatever. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm going back to the old me because it's so easy. We're so ingrained with our habits, good and bad. And so I was going back to the old habits of being complacent, which wasn't serving me. And I knew this. So I leveled up my game and I committed to an 80-day workout program. This was a lifting workout program. I had never been a lifter in my life. I avoided gyms at all costs because I did not know what to do in the gym. So this was at home, and I felt safe doing it at home because I was like, if I look like a fool, no one has to see me.
Who cares? Right.
And I committed that after 80 days, if I hated moving my body in this way, I never had to do it again. I just promised. I was like, I'll find something else. So I committed to 80 days of eating well and moving my body every day for like half an hour to an hour max. And I lost 26 inches and 35 pounds.
Amazing.
And I felt like a completely different person.
Yeah.
And somewhere along those 80 days, I fell in love with fitness too. Like I haven't stopped working out at home. So all these people now for quarantine are like, oh, I'm working out at home. Like, been doing it since 2018.
You're like, I am a pro. I got this. Well, it's the funny thing is you say, you know, how you didn't want to go to the gym because you didn't want to look like a fool. You didn't want to see people watching you.
Yeah.
And so I know because we're Facebook friends that now you like will put your workouts videos on Facebook which I think is amazing because first of all, you make it look like a lot of fun. So
because it's fun. Because if I don't, I feel like Phoebe from Friends. Remember when she would go running and be like, you have to make it fun to keep doing it.
Oh God, that just brings back the memory of her running. Like
I know, right? Sorry.
Great show. Sidebar. But anyway, but yeah, it's just funny how like that has shifted so much for you. And I think it is such an inspiration for other people as well to see that very, very relatable. I mean, you're in your home, you're working out in your living room, you know, you're
my
dancing.
kids and my husband like doing their thing.
Yeah, I love it when you get your husband involved too and he works out with you. That's amazing.
He's an overachiever and lost 40 pounds. I was like, thanks, honey.
Men always lose more. Whatever.
But
I just disregard that.
Oh man.
So talk a little bit too about what are you doing today? Because with your coaching, talk a little bit about that. So if individuals want to learn more or follow you,
Yeah.
what is it and how would they find you?
So I am in the process, actually, I'll be launching a 6-month program for busy moms who want to figure out how to make fitness fun, how to build in self-care, how to like kind of focus on these, what I call them 12 key aspects of your life, your primary food and your secondary food. And that probably sounds like so confusing to people, but that's what I focus on in this 6-month program with these moms. I do it in a group coaching style because I truly believe that there's power in community. And I love nothing more than connecting moms and helping them to see that like the struggles they have are struggles that everybody struggles with, and like bringing us together to empower us to like lean into one another. So I have an Instagram page, The Holistic Edit, where I share a lot of my journey about that. I partner with Beachbody, so I love using their at-home workouts. I have been for 2 years, been getting a lot of good results from that, and it feels really good for me. And then I have Facebook, and I'm not really like, I don't have like, well, I have an Instagram, or no, I have a Facebook business page, but most of the time I'm on my personal page, and so you can find me at Amy Spooner. I love making new friends, and I love building community, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun serving others, seeing how I can help others, encourage others, help others find what feels good for them, their self-care and their habits.
Yep.
I'm a huge personal development junkie. So I do offer a lot of insight and resources for that as well. And I'm all about habits. So if someone has a hard time building a habit, I can help you, because I used to be somebody who was like, I'm not doing that because it's going to be boring.
Yeah.
But it's brought so much structure and goodness and positivity to my life. It's helped me level up in my business and build a business and now start another one. It's helped me in my relationship with my husband. It's helped me be a better mom. So I feel really good about habits now.
Yeah.
They're kind of a jam.
Yes. Well, and I think it's awesome to think about habits, good habits, because I think a lot of times when I think of a habit, it's like something I'm doing that I don't want to do. Or like, you think about a smoking habit or a drinking habit or, all those habits, but there are good habits we can incorporate in our life. And I think it's probably easier to build bad habits because it's easier for us to go that way. It takes a bit more intentionality to actually create a good habit. But once it's a habit, then like you want to do it, like you're pulled towards that. So it's just the process of getting there. So awesome. So yeah. So when does your program launch?
Oh my gosh, it's like putting it out to the world. I'm gonna do a launch for the end of September. September, I think it was 28th. I said in my business journal that I'm like making big goals in. But the group, and I'm opening it to, I'm keeping it my first group at 5 people. So it really is, I'm sorry, my people are, it really is like a small, intimate group. I'm not having like the masses, because I really do believe that it will help build those connections and help those people through the 6 months. So I will have 5 slots available at the end of September for the start date of October 5th.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I just said it. I'm so excited about it. It truly feels like another child of mine. Like I get it when people who write books are like, I feel like I birthed this book. I've put my heart and soul into this based on my own journey, that of what my Beachbody clients have been talking to me about and leaning in. And so I really am very proud of it. I'm very excited to see how it can impact other people.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be excellent. And obviously you have a lot of your own personal experience that you're bringing to it. And then, the courses that you took, to become a coach. Obviously you've got, the personal, you've got the scientific, all pulled in there together. So it sounds like it's going to be awesome. I don't even have to wish you luck, because I just know it's going to be successful. So I'm excited for you. I think that's going to be amazing. And then, so I think afterwards when we post this, if you can just put the links to how people can find you, that way they can just easily click on there if they'd like to follow you and continue watching your journey and maybe find out more about what you're doing and get involved. So at the end of all of our interviews, we ask our guests to share a insight and mindfulness. So I'm going to turn that over to you to share today.
Okay, so I'm all about gratitude because honestly, it was one of the catalysts for leading me to where I am today. So it's something I do all the time, every day. I am not without gratitude. And so I would like to pose the insight of a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. And I don't know who wrote that quote, but I love it because I feel like I've witnessed so many miracles in my own life and in others around me just by approaching life with a grateful heart. So, yeah. And then the question, because I would love for everybody to be looking through this lens today, is what 5 things can you be grateful for today?
I love it. And I'll tell you, since we originally talked and you had shared that you were doing the, waking up, thinking about 5 things that are grateful. I mean, I would throughout the day, I would focus on that, but I've been doing that. Like every morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm like, okay, before I do anything else, what are 5 things? And sometimes it is harder. It's harder to find, but then I'm looking, okay, what are I love the soft, cozy bed. I love, cuddling with my puppy, whatever. But the point, I think, being that we're focusing our mind on the positive, and that just sets us off for putting ourselves in a better position for that day. So thank you for sharing that, because I've been using it. And
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So already making a difference. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us. I'm really excited to share this out with other people, and I know that they will get something for their own lives from what you've shared. So thanks again, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.